The Supreme Court stands as the ultimate guardian of the Constitution, serving as the final authority on America's most profound legal questions. Its decisions ripple through every layer of society, shaping not only the laws that govern us, but also the very fabric of our daily lives. The court's rulings define our rights, responsibilities, and freedoms, impacting every citizen, regardless of background or belief. From the largest cities to the smallest towns, its influence is felt in ways both seen and unseen. With 9 justices, each bringing unique perspectives and philosophies, disagreement is common. That's why a unanimous 9-0 ruling is so rare and so powerful. It's a moment when every justice, despite their differences, finds common ground. When all justices agree, it sends a resounding message. The legal principle at stake is so clear, so fundamental, that it transcends politics and ideology. This kind of unity is a powerful statement about the clarity and importance of the issue at hand. Such consensus not only reinforces the stability of the law but also strengthens public trust in the court's impartiality. Americans can feel confident that the law is being interpreted fairly, without bias or division. In 2025, the Supreme Court delivered a unanimous decision in Barnes v. Felix, a case that would reshape how police use of force incidents are judged nationwide. The decision was closely watched, as it addressed urgent questions about justice, accountability, and public safety. This landmark case rejected a fragmented, inconsistent approach that had confused lower courts for years. Instead, the justices provided a clearer, more comprehensive legal framework, ensuring that similar cases would be judged by the same standards across the country. We'll explore the background of Barnes v. Felix, the critical shift in legal standards it introduced, and why the court's unanimous voice was so essential in this moment. Most importantly, we'll examine the far-reaching implications for police, courts, and every American's constitutional rights, showing how a single, united decision can shape the future for generations to come. The Bill of Rights enshrines core freedoms that shape American society, laying the foundation for the rights and liberties we often take for granted today. Among these, the Second and Fourth Amendments stand out as especially significant, frequently at the center of passionate debates about the balance between individual liberty and collective security. The Second Amendment, which addresses the right to keep and bear arms, and the Fourth Amendment, which protects against unreasonable searches and seizures, are both crucial in defining the relationship between citizens and the government. These amendments are not just historical artifacts. They actively influence modern law enforcement, public policy, and daily life. The Second Amendment was originally written in the context of a well-regulated militia, but over time its interpretation has evolved. Today, it is widely recognized as protecting an individual's right to own and carry firearms, though the extent of this right is still debated in courts and legislatures across the country. The Fourth Amendment, meanwhile, serves as a vital safeguard for personal privacy. It requires that law enforcement officers have probable cause and, in most cases, a warrant before searching someone's property or making an arrest. This amendment is a cornerstone of American criminal procedure, ensuring that government power is checked and that citizens are protected from arbitrary intrusions. When police use force to detain or arrest someone, that action is considered a seizure under the Fourth Amendment. This means that every use of force by law enforcement must be evaluated for its reasonableness, taking into account the circumstances and the rights of the individual involved. Tensions can escalate quickly when a person's right to carry a firearm comes into contact with a police officer's responsibility to ensure public safety. These encounters are often complex, requiring officers to make split-second decisions while respecting constitutional rights. The Supreme Court's decision in Barnes v. Felix addressed these very issues, providing much-needed guidance on how courts should weigh the competing interests of individual rights and law enforcement duties. This landmark ruling established a new national standard for evaluating police conduct in situations where the Second and Fourth Amendments intersect. By clarifying the legal framework, the court's decision not only strengthens Fourth Amendment protections, but also brings greater consistency and fairness to how these critical encounters are judged in courts across the country. The Barnes v. Felix case began with a routine 2016 traffic stop for unpaid tolls. Officer Felix approached Ashty and Barnes, but the situation escalated when Barnes tried to drive away, leaving Felix clinging to the moving car. Felix fired his weapon, ending the incident. The legal question: was the officer's use of deadly force reasonable under the Fourth Amendment? Lower courts used the moment of threat rule, focusing only on the instant Felix fired, granting him qualified immunity. This narrow approach ignored the events leading up to the shooting and varied across federal circuits, creating legal inconsistency. In other regions, courts considered the broader context. The Supreme Court took the case to resolve this conflict and establish a unified national standard. The heart of Barnes v. Felix was a choice between two standards: the moment of threat rule, which isolates the instant force is used, and the totality of the circumstances, which considers the entire encounter. Supporters of the moment of threat rule argued it protected officers from unfair hindsight. Critics said it ignored whether an officer's earlier actions escalated the danger. The Supreme Court unanimously rejected the narrow rule, reaffirming that courts must consider all relevant facts, as established in Graham v. Connor. Justice Kagan wrote that a proper Fourth Amendment analysis is fact-dependent and must examine the full context, including both officer and suspect conduct. This ruling replaces fragmented standards with a comprehensive national approach to judging police use of force. Totality of the circumstances means courts must look at the whole story, not just the final moment. Judges now consider the initial reason for police contact, the behavior of both parties, and whether the officer's actions escalated the situation. The new standard clarifies that an officer's conduct before using force is relevant, not just the suspect's actions. Courts can now ask if an officer's decisions created unnecessary danger. This approach allows for a more nuanced, fair judgment, ensuring the use of force is truly necessary and justified. The decision moves beyond legal jargon, demanding common-sense evaluation of every aspect of a police encounter. The Supreme Court's decision in Barnes v. Felix marks a pivotal turning point in how courts across the country, especially in several major federal circuits, will now approach police use of force cases. This ruling doesn't just tweak legal standards, it fundamentally reshapes the way judges and juries must analyze these incidents, setting a new precedent that will impact countless cases moving forward. In the past, many use-of-force lawsuits were dismissed early if officers could show they faced a plausible threat at the exact moment force was used. Courts often focused narrowly on that split second, without considering the broader context or the officer's decisions leading up to the encounter. This approach sometimes left important questions about police conduct unexamined. Now, under the new standard, judges are required to look at the entire sequence of events. They must consider whether an officer's earlier choices, tactics, or escalation played a role in creating the situation where force was used. This means that the full story, what happened before, during, and after the use of force, will be scrutinized in court. As a result, more cases will move forward to a full hearing, allowing juries and judges to weigh all the evidence, not just a single moment. This comprehensive review gives plaintiffs a better chance to have their claims heard and ensures that officers' actions are evaluated in context. The Supreme Court's decision also guarantees that Fourth Amendment rights, protecting against unreasonable searches and seizures, are applied equally, no matter where someone lives. This uniform standard helps eliminate regional disparities and strengthens constitutional protections nationwide. By requiring a more thorough and consistent evaluation of police conduct, the ruling promotes fairness and accountability. It encourages law enforcement to adopt better practices and reassures the public that their rights will be upheld in every courtroom. The ripple effect of this landmark decision will be felt nationwide, leading to more context-rich, transparent, and equitable judgments in police use-of-force cases for years to come. For police, the new standard brings clarity and consistency, ending years of confusion over differing regional rules. Officers now know their actions throughout an encounter, not just the final moment, will be scrutinized, encouraging better training and de-escalation. Departments are incentivized to emphasize sound tactics and procedural justice. For the public, the ruling means greater accountability and the chance to present the full story in court. The decision reinforces that the Fourth Amendment protects against a chain of unreasonable actions, not just the final act. By fostering better policing and more robust accountability, the ruling can build trust between law enforcement and communities. It's a step forward for both good officers and the public, promoting best practices and upholding constitutional rights. The Supreme Court's unanimous voice in Barnes v. Felix is a powerful declaration of core constitutional principles. All 9 justices agreed. Evaluating police use of force requires a comprehensive, context-sensitive approach, not a narrow snapshot. This clarity eliminates ambiguity and ensures a stable legal landscape. The ruling mandates a holistic review of police encounters, closing loopholes and promoting accountability. It benefits both the public and responsible officers, distinguishing professional conduct from reckless actions. The 9-0 decision brings clarity, consistency, and a framework that encourages better training and trust. It reaffirms equal justice under law and stands as a testament to the court's ability to find common ground for a fairer system.